Hello dear students, welcome back to CAT course offered by St. George's College, Erivitra. So this is paper 1, Fundamentals of Financial Accounting, video session number 9. So in this video, we will be detailedly discussing about the subsidiary books, especially the cash book, the concept of contra transactions or contra entries, purchases day book, sales day book, return inwards book, return outwards book, bills receivable book, bills payable book, and journal proper. So today we will be mostly discussing about the different types of subsidiary books. So in the last video we have had a detailed discussion about what is a journal, and we have said that journal is a book of primary entry where all the transactions are recorded into the books of account for the first time in the journal. That's why it is known as the book of original entry. So if all the transactions are entered into the books of account, then it will be heavily loaded with different type of transactions which are having different in nature. So at the end of the day, you will not be able to recognize which are your cash transactions, which are your purchase transactions, and which are your sales transaction. So it says that the entries can be easily written. So the journal entries, to post it into the journal, it is very easy. But what happens when the transactions are too much? It becomes very difficult to manage them, analyze them, summarize them. So to overcome this particular limitation, the journal is being subdivided into different types of books, and they are known as our subsidiary books. So it is generally to overcome this particular limitation of the journal, we have subdivided the journal into more than one journal. So that is known as the subdivision of journal, or we call it as the subsidiary books. So here what we are doing is the similar transactions are clubbed into a single book. So which means at the end of the day, we can identify which are our cash transactions, what is the value of our purchases, what is the value of our sales, what is the value of our bills receivable. So all these things can be clearly, easily can be located with the help of our subsidiary books. So in this video, we will be having a detailed discussion about all the subsidiary books, and one of the major important subsidiary book in our every business is the cash book. So we are going to discuss about the cash book in detail. So this is the list of all subsidiary journals. The first one you can see, it is the cash book, and the cash book records all cash and bank transactions. So this is the summary of, or this is a glance of all those things which we are going to discuss today. So the first subsidiary book is, and the most important book is the cash book, and here we record all cash transactions and bank transactions. After the cash book, the next one is known as the purchases book or the purchase register. Here we record all the purchase of goods and that are on the basis of credit. That is the speciality. If it is a cash purchase, that will be recorded in cash book. But if it is a credit purchase, that is recorded in our purchases book or in the purchases journal. Similarly, the next subsidiary books is the sales day book or the sales register. Here also the same indication is there. If it is a cash sale, that will be recorded in the cash book. But if it is a credit sale, of goods and services, then that will be recorded in your sales day book or in the book of sales ledger. Next one, whatever we have purchased, some we may identify that some of them may be defective, or it may not be looking similar like what it is given as a sample. Then we will return those goods. That is known as purchases return or return outwards. So why we call it as outwards? Because purchase result in an inward, and if we are returning it back, those goods are moving out. So return outwards always indicates a purchases return. So all type of purchases return due to insufficiency, defective, or it is not equal to that of the sample, then these goods are being replaced and it will be sent back to the original supplier. So those things are recorded in the return outward book or the purchases returns book. Next one is the sales return book or the return inward book. So sales return here means we sold goods to the customer. Customer found that it is defective or it is insufficient or it is not appropriate to that of our sample, then the customers will return us back the goods. So that is also known as the return inward books. Here the goods are coming into the business, that is why it is known as return inwards. So all sales returns are recorded in the return inwards book. Then next one is bills receivable, which means a sale transaction may result in the creation of bills receivables, and if the bills are being accepted and the goods are sold, then that will be recorded in the bills receivable book. And next one is bills payable book, which means we accepted the bill, we took it from the goods from the suppliers. So the bill is generated, bill is created, bill is being accepted, then such type of bills are being recorded in the bills payable book. And any other transactions which cannot be recorded in any of the above subsidiary books, those transactions will be recorded in the journal proper. So these are the main subsidiary books, and we have discussed what is the content of each and every subsidiary book. Let's see these things in very detail. The first one is the cash book. So the cash book is also known as, it is a special journal, which means we record all cash receipts and cash payments into the cash book. So that is the major thing. All cash received and all cash paid, they are recorded into the cash book. And the cash book is also known as a book of original entry, because most of the transactions will be recorded initially into the cash book. And we can say that the debit side of the cash book records the cash receipts, and the credit side of the cash book we are recording the cash payments. So we can say this is an account, similar like an account. Account is having two sides, the debit side and the credit side. So the debit side records all cash receipts and the credit side records all the cash payments. And it is very important to know that the cash book is also called as both a journal and a ledger. It's an equivalent to a journal as well as a ledger. So very important, this subsidiary book is only known as both a journal and a ledger, that is the cash book. And we can see there are different types of cash book. The cash book which is having only one amount column is known as a single column cash book. There are three types of cash book: single column, double column and triple column cash book. There are three types of cash book, and the cash book is given the name on the basis of the number of amount columns. So if there is only one amount column, which means only to record the cash values. So which means here we are recording cash receipts and here we are recording the cash payments. So such type of books are known as a single column cash book. And when it comes to the double column cash book, there will be two amount columns. Okay, so the first column will be a cash column and the second one is discount allowed or discount received. So if a cash book is having two columns where one of that is related with the cash and the second one is related with the discount, then such type of cash books are known as the double column cash book. And coming to the third one, triple column cash book, where we have three amount columns. The first one for cash, the second one for bank, and the third one is for discount. So if the cash book is having three columns, then it is known as the triple column cash book. So there are three types of cash book: single column, double column and triple column cash books. Now we move to the next topic, that is the contra entries or contra transactions. So if a transaction is having a discount factor, discount either allowed or discount received, then such type of transactions are known as contra transactions. So a transaction that result in either a cash received or a cash paid or cash receiving, cannot cash, the discount receiving and the discount allowing. So if these aspects are there in a transaction, such type of transactions are known as contra entries. So let's see an example. Discount of rupees 500 received from Mr. Ghosh, who has accounts previously settled in full. So which means you can see that discount received is an income, so the income will be credited and the debit goes to cash account debtor to discount received. So here one of the aspect is discount, so then that transaction can be classified as a contra transaction. Similarly, the discount paid 400 as discount, so So this is discount allowed for a business that is a loss, so that is debited, and the credit goes to cash. This entry is also having one of the aspect as the discount. So this type of transactions are known as contra transactions. So this is all about the cash book. Now we are moving to the next one, purchases book or the purchases journal. Okay, so the purchases day book, here we have already mentioned that all the purchases which is in the form of cash will be recorded only in the cash book. But if there is credit purchase of goods, then such type of entries are being recorded in the purchases day book. So all the purchases which are in the form of credit will be recorded in purchases day book. So if there is any cash purchase other than the goods, it will not be recorded in the purchases book. If it is any cash nature, that cannot be recorded in purchases day book. So you can see the format. Here we are recording the name of all the suppliers in which the goods are purchases. Then there is a reference number column is there, and we are writing the amount here, and if there is any remarks, that will be recorded in the last column. So this is the format of purchases day book. So sometimes in the examination you will get a question to classify them into cash transactions, purchase transactions, sales transactions, etc. So if there is only credit, then that can be classified under purchases and sale transactions. The next book is known as the sales day book. As we have already mentioned, if it is a cash sale, that cannot be recorded in the sales day book. So if there is credit sales of goods and services to the customers, then that can be recorded in the sales day book. So if the credit transactions can be only recorded in the sales day book, and if there is anything in the form of cash, that will be recorded in the cash book. So here the names of customers will be recorded in the sales day book, their reference numbers, the amount received, and if there is any remarks, that could be recorded in the sales day book. Now coming to the next subsidiary book, that is the return inwards. So I have mentioned what is inward or what is coming back. That is, the goods are coming back. So which goods are coming back? What we have sold will be returning back. So here return inwards means actually it is related with the sales returns, correct? It is related with the sales return. So this is also known as the sales return book. And why the sales returns happen? Because of various reasons, like it is not according to the sample, or if it is not according to the standard, or if it is not recorded into our books of accounts, then these items are returning back, then that is recorded in the sales return book. And here we will be sometimes issuing the debit note for the documentary proof for the sales returns. So here the details will be entered. So this is the format of the return inwards book. Now moving to the next subsidiary book, that is known as the return outwards book. So here we need to think what is the moving out of the business. So here what is moving out of the business is the goods are moving out of the business, which means what we have purchased and is found to be defective, we are sending it back to our supplier. So this is something which is related with the purchases returns. So this is also known as the purchases return books, and here we will, this is the format of the return outward book. Here all the things like the name of the supplier, the total value of the goods which is returned, all these things will be recorded into the return outwards book. Now coming to the next subsidiary book, that is the bills receivable book. So here it is for recording all the bills which is received, that is recorded into the bills receivable book, which means the amount is to be received. We have created a bill against a particular customer, and the bill is to be repaid, or the customer need to pay the amount at a future date. So such type of transactions, if it happens, a bill is created, then that will be recorded in the bills receivable book. So you can see the format. The format is not so much important, but generally we need to know about it. So it is something which is as a result of a credit sale, because it is something related with the customers. And the bills payable book means it is the amount which is to be payable by the business. And here it may be the goods have been purchased from a supplier, and a bill is being created against that particular thing, and the amount is to be paid by our business in a future date. So such things are being recorded in bills payable book. So here this is the format of the bills payable book. So you need to just see the format of the bills payable book. Now coming to the last topic of our discussion, that is the journal proper. So the almost all the entries, all the general events can be recorded in the above said books, like cash book or purchases or sales or inward, outward, bills receivable, bills payable. For a normal business, all the transactions, majority of the transactions could be ended up in any of these said books. But there can be sometimes other transactions which could not be even recorded in the above subsidiary books, like we purchased a land, where we will record it. So those transactions which do not find a place in the above subsidiary books are being recorded in the journal proper. So we can see that it covers different items like purchase and sale of assets, other expenses, accrual of expenses, rectification entries. So this cannot be recorded in the above subsidiary books. So that is known as, or those entries can be recorded in the journal proper. So that is the relevance of our journal proper. So this is all about our subsidiary books. We have discussed different types of subsidiary books like cash book, purchases book, sales book, return inwards book, return outwards book, bills receivable books, bills payable book, and journal proper. So this is a very important area of our discussion, that is the subdivision of our journal, and you can see various examples from your textbooks. Go through the examples and have a clear idea about the subsidiary books. So we can meet in the next video. Thank you.